Hey, good afternoon, everyone. This is Todd Nelson again with the 501 Biz Masterclass. Looking forward to another episode here as we talk about the things that you as business owners, you as business decision makers, you need to know the information that you can have, and we want to provide that to you so you can make the best decisions possible. And we know that sometimes decision makers, you have different needs and you don't have the time to try to research on the internet. Who is it that I need to talk to? Who is it that I need to get in front of? And then to try to set up a time. And so what we're trying to do in this YouTube channel and these series of Zoom calls is simply to give you the information that you need. And then if you need the expertise that is in that video, then we let you know who you can connect up with to get your specific questions answered. Because obviously we're not here to give you specific business advice, but we are here to give you some information that will make it helpful when you know who that you need to reach out to. So today we want to welcome Nathan Crossett. Nathan is with Republic Bank, and we're going to be talking about some of the issues that come up when you're trying to get some capital loans and some of that. So Nathan, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah. Hey, Todd, thanks for having me. So, yeah, no, thanks for bringing me on. Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about banking. So, I do business banking and business lending at Republic Bank, and this is something I really really passionate about. So thanks for bringing me on. What I do on a daily basis, done for many years, and I just being at the bank, it's a different perspective. Because I see the financials that you might think you know a business, and you go to Chipotle or your tax preparer, or the business owner that owns multiple barbershops, or
Hmm.
whatever, and insurance agencies, and you have an idea of what they do. A whole different perspective when you're the banker, and you can see everything that goes in and out of the right. You're working closely with these business owners. You're seeing everything that goes in and out of the accounts. You've got their financials, and you think you understand and know a business until you see their financials, right? Even the general managers of some of these businesses, area managers, they
Sure.
understand. They're in the operations, but until you really get into the financials, right, it's hard to fully understand the business.
Yeah,
And so,
and of course, as we're recording this, we're in the midst of interest rates being high, and so for a lot of businesses, this is a huge area of concern because if they're looking to expand and they need to take on some new capital or whatever the case may be, it can be a very daunting time. So let's kind of dive in, Nathan, and let's talk about a lot of times you hear business owners asking questions, and one of the things that I think is important to talk about is how can business owners avoid having to personally guarantee their commercial or their business loan?
sure. So it's going to be very common when you open your first business. The bank, you go to the bank for a loan, they're going to ask you for a personal guarantee. You're probably going to end up doing a 401k loan, home equity line of credit to
Mhm.
start your business, or cash or savings. In addition, possibly an SBA loan
Mhm.
in conjunction with that, but you're going to have a down payment, so it's got to come from one of those other places. Well, after you've been, I see this all the time, that there's still a lot of personal guarantees out there, and the whole
Mhm.
point of business owners of starting an LLC is that they don't want the liability on their, you know, personally, right, on their family, where the business fails, something happens, or litigation, and they come and they can take your house, and they can take, and uh, um, so that's a common thing. But what I see, although that's going to be necessary, you start your first business, but when you're on your, you've expanded your third location, you've been over in business 2 or 3 years, I still see a lot of business owners with personal, they've still got their personal guarantees out there because they haven't maybe just reached out to a banker to look at it, and because they're busy running their business. They're not,
Mhm. Mhm.
focused on that every day. So yeah, I think that's important. to touch base with somebody who can take a look at that. If you've been seasoned and you're in your business over 2 or 3 years, a lot, and your business is cash flowing, and you've got a track record of, financials where you can show positive cash flow for multiple years, there's really no reason for you to have a personal, guarantee still out there, or maybe even an SBA loan, right? And so, so that's something where, that's time to put it under the LLC, or try to put it under the LLC, and not have to, stay up at night worrying about, right, if the risk of litigation, or something happens with the business, or the business fails, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when I know I ran into that when I had my small business, and the first couple of years, it was much more difficult. But to your point, as I started to develop that overall cash flow, that trackable history of cash flow, it did become much easier to talk. And so that's good information to know. So as a business owner, what is it that you think is most important to look for in a bank? Because obviously we're in Middle Tennessee, lots of banks, lots of bankers. What's, in your opinion, some things to look for when it comes to a banker?
So, yeah, I think when if you're a business owner, a bank, honestly, it kind of looks like a little bit like finding an insurance agent, right? There's a lot out there. What do I look for? What do I choose? Does it really matter what I go? And I would say that if you're just starting your business, and you're opening your first business account, it's probably going to be fairly similar where you go. Once you become established and go through the life cycle, and you've been established a couple of years, you're starting to get, cash flows. You're going to want, I think the banker makes more difference than just the bank. The bank's got to you got to be with a bank that's got the appetite to, to be able to help you. But, to be able to do the lending, and take care of your deposit needs, but that you have. But I think the banker matters a lot, and it needs, in my opinion, needs to be somebody that has taken the time to understand your business, and they don't have to understand it better than your financial advisor, your CPA, but really better than any other banker. And they should know the industry, and they should understand the business. And I'll give you a quick example. So, if you were to look right now at opening a business, and you were researching, what is a franchise that I can open where I'm going to have the best returns on invested capital? And you just pulled that up, and it's out there. It's in Nashville right now. You could look it up. In one of them that I've worked with a couple of these, and one of them you're going to stumble upon is the IV therapy business. Todd, have you ever seen these where they? I mean, they're famous for more, or popular for more, the hangover, but it's more than that. I've done a few of these businesses, and they tell me all the stuff they do. I've learned about them a little bit, and they do far more than that. It's a health thing. They got 50 shot options that they can, IV options that they can do, all do different things, right? And some for illness, and just different things. So anyway, when you look at the return on, investment for each of those, you got to bring the customers in. But if you're bringing the average customers in, it's 50% return, which is pretty insane for you to first year do something like that. And but the thing is, if you look around town, all of a sudden, I mean, because capitalism can be a little brutal to business, right? The small and medium business. And so you look around town, and there's one opening up every month now. And so, if you're talking to somebody and you're working with a banker, and they're, if their ear's not to the ground and they don't see all this happening, right? I already know that, there's already 2 by Lifetime Fitness, right? And there's, I know that there's one opening up, and if you got somebody who kind of understands the business and your business and the industry, and can help, kind of sees the patterns of things that are coming there, that, that they can kind of talk through that with you, and be not an advisor, but at least somebody who understands it well enough to know what you're going to need in the future,
Yeah.
and understands the competitive forces at play a little bit. And I think that matters a lot for understanding proactively what your future credit needs are, deposit needs, and you're understanding your personal financials, your personal needs, and what you're trying to accomplish as a business owner, and as well as looking at the competitive forces that are out there within the market. And like I said, is as more of these are open, and as I just see more of these, they're coming in, right, to open, start new businesses here in Williamson County. I mean, those expected profit margins, might not be sustainable, right? So
Sure.
you, you
Yeah.
got competitors moving down the street.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's just one example of something I've seen that.
Yeah.
Uh,
So I think what I'm hearing you say though is that your philosophy is kind of much the same as mine. When you are helping a client, some of that is just value add, right? As a banker, one of the things that you should expect from a banker is, from what I'm hearing from you say, is, hey, what are you hearing? What's your professional opinion? Not that you're trying to squash my dream, but if I'm opening the first IV therapy, for instance, versus the 15th here in, just as part of Middle Tennessee, I want to know that, right? And for you to be able to bring that, I think leads really well into my last question for you. Is I think what we're saying is that the bank is an important decision to make, not only for your current but also your future goals. So, what's some advice you would give to the business owner as far as uh, looking for a bank that can help you allocate your capital, that can help you avoid, because I know on the personal side, it seems like some banks, they rope you in and then they're like, oh, well, we've got a fee for this and we've got a fee for that. No, we forgot to tell you about this. And obviously on the business side, we don't want to feel taken advantage of either. So what's your advice as far as finding a bank that will help you allocate the capital, help you avoid unnecessary fees, all of that part of it?
yeah, no, I think that's really important. So one of the um, one of the things I look at. So we had a business just this week that, um, we banked them for a long time, personally, but we don't bank their dental practice.
Mhm.
And we we took a look at it, and just looking at what they were paying in wire fees, overdraft fees, not excuse me, wire fees, and merchant fees, excuse me, not overdraft. And overall, the interest that they were getting no interest on any of their deposits. And overall, we were able to, it's a $15,000 difference in banking with us versus banking where they're banking. And they probably wouldn't have taken a lot of time. I mean, you're not typically going to call, you know, four banks every year, right? And compare deposit prices, and fees and
Right,
things.
right.
But I think if you take a minute to look at your statement as a business owner, whoever handles the banking for your business, is a CFO, once the business has over 25 employees, then be shocked and amazed at what you're actually paying in fees, and how, talking with somebody that is a trusted contact that does business banking and business lending, has done it for a while, can, I mean, just really look through that and save you a lot of money. I mean, $15,000 for your business is a lot. I see it on the other side too. You brought up interest rates earlier, and interest rates are not. It's not fun because you got a lot of 4% and 5% loans right now. If you're a business owner, you're staring at your books, and that 4.25%, 5% loan is coming up for maturity, and it's going to be 8 or 9%.
Hmm.
And so yeah, your bank can make the right bank. You can compare and get a 1% difference maybe in that, and save some money. But the thing I see a lot is business owners. I think they're on a personal side, they've got They've got an emergency fund, they've got savings, they got a financial advisor, they got all that on the business side. I've got accounts I'm looking at, and they've got average deposit balances of over $200,000. That money's going in and out, but the average is still 2 to 250, and
Sure.
that's not uncommon for a business with 25 plus employees to have that balance.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
and that's 250 on top of the fees that I just was talking about. They're earning nothing on that 200 and 250,000.
Sure.
And you asked about what to look for in a bank. Well, most banks are going to love that. I mean, they're going to say, well, low cost deposits. I'm not, but if you've got a bank or a banker that, I would say, just selfless and trustworthy enough to reach out to you or have the conversation up front, and has said that your average balance is 200, 250,000. We got, for example, now I got a money market that's at 4%, right? 4.25 above 100,000. So they'd be getting 4.25. And that's not to mention partnering with you or so, in a financial advisor. Can we do better than that? And
Mm-hmm.
does that make sense to do something more? So I think the interest rate rise can work to your advantage as well as a business owner of a medium-sized, business. And I see almost nobody taking advantage of it. Honestly, I could count,
Yeah.
of the hundreds of accounts I look at, I count on my hand. And, if we haven't reached out to them, in which we do, to do something better there, then that's, not many are being proactive. So
Yeah.
I would just say, if you've got, if your bank hasn't, if you're in that boat and your bank hasn't reached out to you, to talk with a banker or financial advisor that could,
Yeah.
could help you there. So
Yeah, absolutely.
You look over 5 or 10 years, and that's, I mean, you're talking about an enormous sum of money.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is shocking to me. Of course, my role in this whole 501 Biz Masterclass is to try to help business owners on the financial advising side. And of course, so I get personal investors as well. And it's shocking to me that they'll say, I've got $100,000 in a savings account. I'm making 0.015 even today.
Yeah.
And so instead of getting, $50 a year, they could be getting, on $100,000, they might be getting 150 through their bank, but they could be getting, 5,000, through a CD or something like that. And it may not be the right solution for everybody, but the fact is that you're saying it's proactive, you're reaching out. And I think that is important that you find people for your team, because as a business owner or as a business decision maker, we're big on building a team that you can reach out to in different areas. And so, Nathan, really appreciate your time. If we're going to drop in the show notes, just a couple of ways that people can get in touch with you if they want to. But is there a best way to reach out to you if somebody wants to talk to you more specifically about their needs?
Yeah. So my call me on my phone. It's area code 901-517-1027, or you can email me here at the bank. It's Crosset. That's N, and then CROSSETT at republicbank.com. So
that's awesome. Well, Nathan, again, thanks so much for, our goal is that you've got so much knowledge. I've got so much knowledge, but nobody probably wants to sit through a 3-hour dissertation on, the ins and outs of commercial banking. But if they do need you, we wanted to let them know that you do have the expertise, you do have the knowledge that they need in order to be able to reach out. And you also have that thing that we in our network really appreciate, and that is that you try to bring value, you try to be proactive. You're not just in it for the money. You really are there to try to help. And so really appreciate your time, man.
Awesome. Todd, thanks so much. Great talking with you. And listen, have a great rest of your day.
Yes, sir. You too.